Charlie's Angels? Do you remember that TV show?
Of course.
I was probably in my 20s and the girls are, I don't know, maybe I was 16 and the girls were in their 30s and I thought, oh gosh, I hope I make it to my 35. Who knew? Did you ever, anybody here, did you ever think you'd be 64? Did you ever think you'd be as old as you are? No. Isn't it a blessing? So, and there's a lot of good things. And Mel, you, April 8th today? April 10th. Wait, I'm April 10th, you're? April 8th. It's Mel's birthday today.
All right, happy birthday, Mel!
And he's barefoot? No, you barefoot and happy? Okay, so that's all good. All right, so this kind of goes along with my talk today. Dear God, so far today I've done okay. I haven't gossiped or lost my temper. I haven't been greedy, crabby, mean, nasty, selfish, overindulgent, and I'm very grateful for that. But dear God, in a few minutes I'm going to get out of bed, and then I'm gonna need a lot more help. Amen. Isn't that the truth? Oh, anyway, I was so inspired. I go to, I'm down in Ventura with Art, during the week, half the week, and I went to the movies and I saw A Wrinkle in Time. And it is fantastic. I was so inspired by that movie because it was really, I saw it as just about our teachings and about what we do here. And Roxy, I guess, had read them, and then I was talking to my gals in yoga. They had read it in high school, and I never got that cool book. Did you all get that book? I didn't get that. I think we had like the Scarlet Letter or something, right? So I thought, how cool that the school assigned them Wrinkle in Time. And the reason being that it's all about the spiritual journey, if you really want to look at it. And it was about the story of this young gal and her dad goes into not the Tesseract, what is it? He does travel, time travel into another dimension. But what I really loved about it, I was so inspired when I got out of there because it was a little gal's journey into acknowledging and growing. So a lot of us in this teaching, we come in here and we feel like we're broken toys, right? And we feel like we're not worthy, we're not valuable. And one of the things that Ernest Holmes talks about, what we talk about in this teaching, is that we need to love and honor ourselves, and we need to love ourselves in order for us to be able to love other people. But the main teaching is that we look within ourselves and we see what's outpicturing. And what outpictures is our reality. So when you look at that movie, she's going through these different stages in her life, and I'm not going to give away the plot because it's just out, and you guys have to go see it. Have to. And it's really about her journey and her inward journey of how to heal herself. And she went through all of these different emotions. She went through fear, she went through anger, she went through despair. But the bottom line, what shored her up through the whole time that she was trying to find her dad, and he had been missing, how many years, Roxy? 8 years? 4 years. And so as he was missing for that long period of time, she never gave up hope, and she always felt his presence. And so as she did that, her little brother, where is his name? Charles Wallace, he said, I know there's some beings that are going to help us, and he helped them go to that different dimension in order to help save her dad, and then the whole story evolves from there. But what has happened is that she was in her teens, but it's like with any of us, and she had all of these things going on. She gave up on her life, she gave up on everything, and we've all gone through difficult times in our life. But what it really showed was her reality in this world was exactly how she was feeling about herself. And then as she changed and as she shifted and as she grew to not only believe in herself, but to love and honor herself and also to give that love to others, it changed everything in her world. Not only the mean girls in school, but everything else. And I just loved it because when we look at our emotions and we look at how it outpictures in the world, I thought, wow, there's emotions of remember the movie Seven? It was a horrible movie, but it talked about the 7 deadly sins. You know what they are, right? Greed and vanity. What are the other ones? Adultery. Yeah, all of
Lust,
those things,
envy.
right? Yeah, envy. But look at the ones: jealousy, envy. You know, any of the
Greed.
ones that are negative. And think about when we have them in our lives and how we're pushing that out into the world. Like oh, I'm jealous of that particular person because they've got a great life or their house is beautiful. Well, what's that going to do to us? It's not going to bring us that beautiful house. Conversely, what it's going to do is cause us to go into this evil land. And in the book, it was called, what was it called?
Zardoz.
Well, and the
Camazot, that's it.
Yeah, so anyway, this planet's taken over by it and not the clown from, the movie. So it was taken over by this dark energy. And one of the things that resonated with me is that these 3 beings that were helping her find her dad said, and it is going to take over all the planets in the universe. And if we don't stop it, it will all turn to darkness. And she said, here's how it plays out. And they showed her different examples. One was of somebody being jealous. One was of somebody being angry. One was showing a dad yelling at his son because he didn't get a straight A. So it was all these emotions. And I thought more deeply about that after I came out of the movie. And I realized if I have those emotions within me, how's that working in my life? And so I started to look at that and be present to it. There's a teacher, and he's no longer on this plane, called John Randolph Price. And John used to go outside in the morning and have his cup of coffee and smoke a cigarette. Yes, he was spiritual and he smoked. And he would monitor, or he would scan himself and say, where do I still have pockets of negative emotions that I can shift? Is there anger? Is there jealousy? Is there pain? Is there fear? And when he would find something, as he's scanning himself, he said, okay, now I'm going to pray on it, and now I'm going to shift it. And I thought, wow, what a practice every single morning. So let's say we wake up in the morning, we're angry about something, we're depressed, whatever the case may be. Be present to it and get present to that, because if we're not present to it, how are we going to shift it? If we're feeling, I was feeling really depressed, okay, my refrigerator has been now, they have come out 5 times. So I was getting a little depressed, and then I said, that's okay, just be with it, and then shift it out and make a plan of action. And that's really what we do, okay? But, Barbara reminded me of something. I remember, connecting, and at time I've taught how to connect with your angels workshops, and I've done that for the last 20 years. And one of the things I wanted to learn was who my guardian angel was, and I wanted to meet them. So somebody said, well, just go ahead and get a Ouija board, pray really well. No, pray before you open that energy up. And it's a cool medium because they can talk to you versus that board. And make sure you have your ministers and your other prayer practitioners around you. So I did. And I said, and I just said, okay, I centered myself, and I want to meet you, my beautiful guardian angel. And my guardian angel is this huge, tall, and just this being that's just, wearing, believe it or not, black. And just this powerful, strong, kind of like a masculine energy, but they don't really, it's not really masculine or feminine. So as I'm working, I said, oh, I'd really like to meet you, and I'd really like to feel you. And as I was doing that, this energy, like you said, Barbara, came over me that your brother sent you. This angel sent me the same energy, and I couldn't move. And the Ouija board started saying and spelling, and it moved to I, A, and M. I am. And then the feeling love came through, and it was I am love. And that's the message. And so I'm getting chills right now. Ooh. And it was beautiful. So whenever we want to connect and feel that divine love, just center, go into your heart and allow that energy to move through you. And I realized in the last, week or so that I haven't been connecting as much as I would like to. So I'm just starting to do that. The best way for me to do it, I'm halfway between the dream time and waking. That's when I can pull in that divine energy. Do you know what I mean? Because you're more receptive, you're not closing yourself down, and it's a way to access the divine, and you're able to have that loving essence come in as and through you. And just ask. That's all you need to do is ask. I want to feel you. I want to feel your divine love. Please come through me. And believe me, it will happen for you. I know that so many of you, it does. And if you haven't ever felt it, play with it. Because Spirit is waiting to embrace you with that beautiful essence. Barbara felt it from her brother. She can feel that every single day should she choose to do it. She knows what it feels like now, and we all have. And I know there's moments in your lives that you have felt this, haven't you? Haven't you all felt this? Have you felt it during a prayer? Have you felt it during a healing session? I know you have all felt this. And that's what we really are honing, is feeling that divine love in us, because then we're able to heal what we need to heal in ourselves. And that reading that Douglas said, it's perfect. Just, they're waiting. Put your hands out. Love me, beloved. I am waiting. I'm ready, willing, and able to feel you. So we ask for that. And then we have those emotions, I don't want to call them negative or positive, when we call the emotions that when we're upset about something, or we're angry, or we're fearful, just be present to it, because that will outpicture something into your world that you really don't want. And if it is something that outpictures, and it's something to be healed, that's great. But allow yourselves to continue to feel underneath, as Maria Christina said, is that it's an umbrella of love that's always around us. It's always around us. And as we feel that, that's really the truth. So I was driving up in here and I saw, the sign on the back of a car, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. How about love is the way, the truth, and the life? Because that's what Jesus embodied. He was the love. So whether you believe in that or whether you believe in, it doesn't matter, Buddha, it doesn't matter. It's all love. What they were teaching underneath everything was love, 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 love. And then we go, oh, love, and it's connecting, and that's our practice. That's what we need to do, and it's how we're going to change our lives. So I was sharing in prac class that, I was having a little bit of a hard time with, and it was my stuff, with my mom, and that I was able to transform that by shifting it, because she was watching some negative stuff and starting to embody all this negative stuff in her life. And what happened is that I then said, okay, this is my stuff. And if I'm angry or upset about something, it's outpicturing in that conversation with my mom. It could be with a friend, it doesn't matter who it is. And I realized there was probably something within me, because there was also not as much connection and love with my daughter and with other people. And I thought, this is a job for God, and this is a job for me to embody more love and more harmony and peace in my life. So if there's individuals that are working your last nerve, maybe you're the one working your last nerve. Maybe it's this one that needs to shift and change. So as I had that conversation, I called her, and for an hour and a half, because I always call her on my drive home because we're not interrupted, and it's better reception. We had this most beautiful, loving, laughed, great time, and it transformed, love transformed that relationship. As I went down and I saw my daughter and my grandchildren, love transformed that relationship. I had spilled tea on her white rug. You have a white rug around kids. Anyway, no judgment, I'll let that go. Anyway, so she was kind of upset, well, really upset. And then I said, well, that's all right, you got your third child coming to see you, okay? So then that kind of lightened up the situation. And so I know that she's a bit of a control freak, so I brought down a container now. So now whenever I have coffee in her house, of course, or tea, then it's going to be taken care of. But it wasn't about her changing. She's fine the way she is. Do you get what I'm saying? She's exactly perfect the way she is. And that's all we need to know, is that whoever it is, whoever we're being present to, allow them to be who they are, love who they are, because they are magnificent, all right? It's like, I know that my guy Art has his stuff. I love that man just the way he is. I'll tell you why. He comes down to my house and it's a hot mess and I got stuff all over the place. He never says a word, okay? Now that's love. That's love, all right? Because when we are not judgmental of others, when we're not judgmental of individuals in our lives, and we just give them, I'm going to call it this word, unconditional regard. Do you like that? Unconditional regard. Are you willing this week to go out and have unconditional regard for your family, for your spouses, your significant others, for your children? Because I saw, I'm judging my child, I'm judging her. And I said, you're going to let go of that judgment just like John Randolph Price did, and I'm letting it go because the only one that it's hurting is me. And the only thing that's going to happen is that my health is going to suffer, I'm not going to feel good, and that's really what it's all about. So my beloveds, are you willing? Are you willing to be willing to be willing to be willing, even with the most horrible, nasty person that you know? Are you willing to give them unconditional regard? Are you willing to give them love even though you don't want to give it to them? You could say, you know what, God, I can't do it, so would you do it for me? Dear God, please take them on because I am having emotions about this. Please, dear God. And as we do that, we're asking for love for them. Who's going to get the love? We are. And that's the blessing. That's the bottom line, yeah?
Yes.
So with that, are you ready, willing, and able to have love be the way, the truth, and your life?
Yes.
And if you are, it will transmute you, it will shift you, it will change you, because the biggest and the most powerful spiritual practice on the planet is the feeling tone and the energetic of love. All right? And the bottom, I'm not going to share what happens in the movie, but love is the catalyst in that movie. And so that's what inspired me so much about today. So my beloveds, are you ready? Yeah?
Yes.
You're willing? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I am love. Just say, I am love.
I am love.
I am love. I am love. And as we embody that, I am love, guess what's going to happen? Woo! Watch your lives transform and change. It's going to be miraculous and beautiful. And so it is. Woo!
All right.
Thank you.